say something about local Labour history, something inspiring here at Didcot, for the Didcot Labour Party branch and the Wantage constituency Labour Party, which both groups got along and interesting history, but there's one event in the history of the Labour Party in the area that stands out and shoulders above all else and redounds to the credit of Didcot Labour Party and Wantage constituency Labour Party, not more than credit, glory of Didcot Labour Party and Wantage constituency Labour Party. They're the part that Labour Party members and socialists and trade unions played in this area during the Great Miners' Strike of 1984 and 1985, which in fact, once you know the history, is really inspirational. I was just saying that the branch should have a copy of this book, which was originally put together by the Oxford Miners Support Group, which of course a lot of local Labour Party members were part of, which then spawned the Oxford Women's Support Group as well, a key national organisation that became also. It was published by the Oxford and District Trade Union Council in 1985, and there's a lot of brilliant articles in it. So I think the branch should get a copy, and everybody should look at through this inspiring history of what happened in this area in that year. I mean, and the key importance of it all. I was watching last night. We had an odd night in that all the family were there together. We've got teenage kids, so we all sat in and watched Star Wars, the latest episode of the Star Wars saga. And in a way, it just made me think about this, an apocalyptic struggle between light and darkness. And that's how it seemed at the time to us, of universal significance. And though it was tried to be portrayed as a sectional, petty dispute and that the miners were being selfish, in fact, most of the Labour movement in this country, most members of the Labour Party and the trade union movement knew that it was an attack on the working class and the Labour movement. And if the Thatcher government got away with it, who knows what was going to happen? And we've seen what has happened as a result of the defeat of the miners, which was a key part of the agenda and strategy to impose the neoliberal order globally, restructure capitalism globally, destroy the force of the labour movement, not just in this country, but throughout Europe, America, and globally, so that capital could exploit us to unprecedented levels, and we would see a degree of alienation and atomization that had been unknown in previous societies, down to the defeat of the miners. Complete attack on working class agency and identity, and a collective identity, and the thought that a better world was possible. We're told, Tina then, by Thatcher, there is no alternative. And then they claim that historical necessity is on their side. So it was obvious what was going to happen. As soon as Thatcher's elected, the Tories had already laid a plan, the Ridley Plan, worked out in the mid-70s by the Tory elite, business elite and the police, to get, once the Tories got back in power after the defeats by the miners in the 1970s, they were going to reorganise the police force nationally, introduce paramilitary style policing, rapid response, brutality and coercion was on the agenda going forward. They were going to attack the miners. They made a strategy. They were going to build up stocks. They were going to convert power stations to gas and oil, away from coal. Like, the Labour movement didn't know about all this at the time, but it all came out much later. And of course, the anti-trade union laws. So the Labour movement is softened up in advance. They take on the steel workers, defeat them. The steel workers are isolated, apart from the miners, of course, supported them fully, and were pushing for full-scale action of the whole TUC to support the steel workers, but not forthcoming. The steel workers are isolated and defeated, and then the Tories take on the National Graphical Association at the Warrington Messenger I mean, I was there at some of those mass pickets in 1983, and the plan became obvious at that point. Tens of thousands of police, it seemed like to us, mounted police, and they were using tear gas, CS gas, battle charges, dressed in paramilitary uniforms with armour. Yeah? This is what we were subjected to. People died on the picket line there in Warrington, and we knew what was coming, and then the government announced, and the National Coal Board announced the rapid pit closure programme to pull the carpet from under the feet. But of course, like, they weren't going to be tumbled and humbled again by the miners. They were determined, and they realised that the miners were the battering ram of the labour movement. So they brought in this plan. They thought they could isolate the miners, that they wouldn't be able to react effectively as a union, but they did react effectively. A strike was called immediately by Yorkshire miners as soon as the plan was announced, and the strike spread through the coalfields rapidly, much to the government's chagrin, apart from that enclave that had been arranged in advance of scabby miners in Nottinghamshire and some in Leicester. But mainly, in those areas as well, there was good support for it, but a well-laid plan had been put into. And don't forget, Didcot Power Station had planning permission only for coal transport by rail through Didcot Power Station. Yeah? Supplied by Midland Coalfields, Nottinghamshire Coalfields. See? Yeah? They thought they'd keep Didcot Power Station running on the slide. Yeah? But not to be. Not to be. The strike starts on Tuesday, the 6th of March, 1984, and within a week or so, Kent miners are in the area, picketing the power station. Kent miners walk into the Labour Club in Didcot, ask for support, and get unconditional support right from that moment throughout the whole year of the strike. Didcot people immediately offered to put up Kent miners in Didcot. Collections were taken for Kent miners' families immediately. Didcot people and people from Wantage Constituency Party started to turn out twice a day to provide refreshments for the pickets up there at the two pickets. By the twice a day, 1 o'clock in the morning, people were turning out